Hey guys, so today I'm going to test out the Kalphite Queen in the EOC. Obviously, I have done a video on this before, which was one of my old live commentary videos, which was at the Kalphite Queen pretty much soon after beta release. And it was ridiculously easy. You'd pretty much one hit each phase if you use like Unload, which is the range ability, this one here, which I'm going to use again to see how much damage it does now. So basically, I'm going to take a melee setup and a range switch for the second form where it prays melee, to see how it does. So I'm using a unicorn from a familiar. I've got some food. I'm not really sure how much I need. Obviously I haven't tried it yet, so it will definitely be an interesting attempt. So I've got 2 bars, bar 2 full of my melee abilities and a bar 3 with range abilities. I've got anticipation and regenerate. For after it dies I can use regenerate and just anticipation to reduce some damage. So I'm going to get the Kalphite Queen. I am taking the Tuckle Zoo, which is a quick bank to here, and I can use the fairy ring to teleport straight to the Kalphite Queen lair. And before you say you've got anti-poison, no I haven't, my unicorn heals poison. Yeah! I actually haven't been in this area since the graphical update. Have to say, I didn't actually know it was updated. I'm guessing it was updated with the Ozone quests in the desert, but I have to say, it looks pretty awesome. Right guys, so I've done some testing of the Kalphite Queen, and I've got quite a few kills done. So this kill I was doing on the technique as described last time. So I went in with melee and decided to soul split the full kill, because soul split seems to be quite effective in game now. I figured, let's try it. So first thing to notice is that the Kalphite Queen has a lot of LP now. I also noticed its defense is pretty high. I did hit like a few zeros on some abilities, which is quite annoying, especially when you're using like Slaughter, which obviously does a lot of damage if you make the monster move, which is like just walking under it to make it move. And I found I hit quite a few zeros sometimes, and it took quite a substantial amount of time. This is sped up 3 times. So after that phase I switched on to range, and range the second form, because obviously it prays melee, so I've got to switch to major range. I also stood out a melee distance, because obviously I'm in range gear, so I don't want to be taking melee damage. Now, the problem is, obviously the Kalphite Guardians and workers in the room do damage you with melee, and I was really getting wrecked with range. The uni was struggling to keep up. Obviously, the annoying thing with food as well is, you lose attacks. So every time you eat, you're actually taking more Kalphite Queen attacks, and you're not attacking the Kalphite Queen, which is quite annoying. And obviously, it also lowers your adrenaline, which is even more annoying. I really found you had such a slow DPS. I felt with range especially, you really struggle to get that second form down, and the whole kill approximately took over 4 minutes, and for a Kalphite Queen kill, in comparison to the old combat system, that's a long time. But the other thing to notice is it's level 200. Level 200 is actually quite high. If you got to think like I think Corpse 220, I'm not even sure what next is, I can't remember, but it's not too high. Like, level 200 is higher than all the God Wars bosses. It's a reasonably high combat level. They've definitely made the Kalphite Queen quite a substantially difficult boss. So on this one, I decided to pray mage when I was meleeing, obviously because I'm in Torvo, I don't want mage defense, and then I prayed range and Pernix, because the Kalphite Queen's range attack probably does more damage than the melee from the Kalphite Guardians. So it was a little bit easier, I found, with melee. I didn't really take much damage. I felt like I got it down a lot faster. How much of that is down to pure luck of hitting or whatever, or not getting hit, I'm not sure. But I had the similar problem with ranging again, taking too much damage from the Guardians, etc. So, you know, it's quite difficult. And I figured I'd test maging, and I do, not next kill, but the kill after. Next kill, I decide to bring Spirit Shields and take a defensive approach. Because as you can, the amount of food I'm going through, there's no way, it's going to be it's going to get 2 kills a trip max. And that's just not good enough. I mean, this is the Kalphite Queen. You used to be able to do a lot of kills per trip. It's quite tough. It is quite tough. And what the rewards are for it, it's not really worth it. I also found Regenerate was hard to use unless you're going to run away, because obviously you've got all the Guardians on you, and you can only use Regenerate in combat. So now I went for the defensive approach. So obviously I've only got 1 weapon, and it's between CLS and Rapier, neither of which make a difference. So I put pretty much all the melee abilities, which are one-handed weapons, and I used the stun and then punish punish combo quite often. That works really well. If you hit, you do quite a lot of damage. And the main part of defensive approach is using resonance, which is the shield icon you can see on number 2, and then preparation, which is on 3. What preparation does, every hit you take decreases the cooldown of resonance by 3 seconds. So basically, using them in combination, you can use resonance as much as you can, and what resonance does is, the next attack you receive within the next 6 seconds will heal you. So ideally, I'd like to take prayer off and do that, and that would make it better, but I decided that would be a bit too much effort. So the only ultimate ability I'm using here is Rejuvenate, which actually uses your full ultimate, your full bar to heal you quite a lot. I was using that, so as you can see in my invent, I've used pretty much no food. This really did dramatically reduce the amount of food I need, and I felt like I got through the first half of the kill reasonably quick. However, the range side, when I'm just using one bow, it was bad with 2 bows, and it really was bad. I did need to use a little bit more food on the range side, but I generally healed with my unicorn, not Rocktail. I didn't have to use any Rocktail, I don't think. But you've just got to really use them abilities as much as you can. And obviously there's a typical Ring of Wealth drop. So this card decided to take Mage for the second form. So the first form was very much the same, using melee, in the exact same combination of abilities. And in my opinion, this was the best approach I've tried. To be honest, I can't think of any better techniques right now off my head. I think this is literally probably one of the best ways to kill the Kalphite Queen, and it is by no means fast. I think this was pretty much on par with the fastest kill. I think I killed them slightly faster without spirit shields. However, obviously it's not reasonable when you've got a bank, and it's by no means quick to get here. So obviously this form you're using a lot less food, and it's definitely a lot easier and more enjoyable to do. So I definitely recommend this form over doing the two-handed weapon approach. You definitely need a shield, and you need to use some defensive abilities, or otherwise you're definitely going to struggle to get more than 1 or 2 kills. So obviously the second form I was maging, so I prayed range because you need the range defense. You've got no range defense in full verse. So here I am just basically using the mage abilities to the best of my ability. And I really found you didn't take too much damage when using magic. I never really had to use Rejuvenate without letting my HP get too low. I actually let my prayer drop there. So basically, your key to mage is using Asphyxiate as much as you can, specifically when you got Metamorphosis on. So this is the only one I use an attacker-based ultimate ability, and I use Metamorphosis and then try to get Asphyxiate while still using a Metamorphosis to do huge damage. And I've definitely found that to be the best approach. So, yep, melee first form with Divine, mage second form with Arcane if you can afford that sort of gear. But frankly, I think without Spirit Shields, Kalphite Queen's going to be a very tough boss to do. Obviously you've got other shields, which maybe not quite as good, but these shields will definitely be the best. However, for killing the Kalphite Queen quick, I can't really see any much better than this. However, obviously you can try a Steel Titan. However, I think the healing familiar is definitely nice to have, and that'll reduce the need for Rocktails. But killing the Kalphite Queen in terms of drops, they're just not worth it. A Dragon 2H is about 1.5 mil now, and a Dragon Chain is about 3.5 mil. And I mean, they're reasonably rare, and when your kill time's nearly 5, or like 3 to 5 minutes long, it's really just not worth the money. It's just not worth the effort. You can do a 4-man next kill in 5 minutes. So, that's my opinion on Kalphite Queen. I hope you enjoyed the video, guys, and found it helpful.